How's it going, super friends? So here we are in my basement. It's the middle of the night and I thought, hey, why not make a video? I mean, my eyes are stinging. I should be in bed, but a little known fact about me, I'm actually a little bit of an insomniac. My eyes will sting, my body will say, dude, time to go to bed. And then I'll go upstairs and then lay in bed and then not be able to sleep. Or I get adrenaline rushes and I just rush awake thinking about stuff. So I'm awake, the camera still works, the battery's charged, and I got this figure to open. So let's open up the DC Essentials Brainiac figure together in this format rather than what I have been doing, or even my, more basic format. Let's just open this up face to face, real old school style, like Box and Type X old school style, like early Box and Type X old school style. Do you guys even know who Box and Type X is? Action figures, Box and Type X, movie reviews, Box and Type X, Box and Type X. I'm just saying the theme song way too long. Anyway, he was one of the first the action figure reviewers I actually ever watched. I never watched any of the others, Shartimus Prime, Anthony Customs. I never watched any of them. I was just pretty much Box and Type X because the guy was just so loony. It was fun to watch him. Anyway, so let's open this guy up. DC Essentials Brainiac. I would have opened him up alongside the Superman, but Superman's my favorite character, so I figured I'd give him his own video, right? I've waited for that figure for a long time, very excited. He's getting his own video, so Brainiac is going to have his own video, because I don't figure anyone's going to want to click on a Brainiac video all by himself. It's just a basic reused buck with a newly sculpted head. He even stole Batman's boots, which you'll see in a second. Okay, so now I'm going to open him up, but I got to show you the box, otherwise I'm breaking review protocol. So out of the box, Brainiac. Front of the box, more Brainiac, but it's the figure. Art on the inside, clearly figure displayed, no accessories. And the back, obviously, it's the same write-up as the rest of them, only Brainiac is the prominent one. I don't even think anyone cares about that kind of stuff. It's just when you're a reviewer, you kind of have to show everything to make sure everyone gets a chance. And there's the logo on the top of the box. Now, let's open them up. And I'm going to do this as savage as possible. Oh, man. That's really savage. I feel like a kid opening up a Christmas present. That's the most savage I've ever opened up an action figure. Alright, so let's untwist the twist ties. And this is really, really raw. This is the kind of stuff that I usually edit out or joke around about while I'm doing it. Get out! Brainiac! There. Is he? Oh, he's elasticed in. No elastic can hold Brainiac. Alright, and I figured while I'm opening him here with you as well, there was also another purpose. I wanted to talk about the DC Essentials in general, because people either love them or they hate them, and there are some things to talk about here. Oh, that's bad. Okay, so here he is, Brainiac, looking like Brainiac. I mean, what do you expect? He's not going to look like Superman and Batman because he's Brainiac. Didn't open him up as Superman because opening him up as Superman would mean Superman wouldn't have his own video, like I already said. So here he is for you to have a little peek at. Starting at the boots, which are actually reused Batman boots. And going all the way up. You might notice some sloppy paint and some misapplied details there. And I like the colors of this one. I think that the bright green and the white and the pink power nodes and the black, they all stand out. He's a striking looking figure. There's no doubt he's very striking looking. Where I take issue with this figure is that the paint is sloppy in some areas and then misapplied in others. For one, you can see that doesn't line up. You notice that? I noticed that right away. I noticed that while it was still in the package. It doesn't line up. That's not my fault because the back actually is lined up properly. So that is what it is. It's not properly lined up. And then you've got the back right here. That's kind of painted on sloppy, as you can see. The black looks a bit sloppy with the shiny black hits the matte black, and then the white behind his head there, right here, it's kind of sloppy. You've got one point here hanging down compared to the other. That one's lower and sloppier. And then just the lines are not very crisp on these guys. Now, I would expect that kind of thing from, say, like a $15 figure. Like, okay, it's 15 bucks. I mean, in this economy, that's practically giving it away. So, okay, that's fine. But in a figure for me in Canada that cost me like 37, 38 bucks Canadian, not sure if that was before or after taxes, that's a lot of money to drop on a figure. And so my point is, if they're not going to have the sculpting detail, which we all know going into this, there wasn't going to be a whole lot of newly sculpted detail with these figures, so they could pump out more of them and give us more characters. That was the whole point of having less sculpted. They're just basic and essential. Let's paint the details on. If they're going to do that, they're going to go that cost-saving route, they had better make darn sure, in my opinion, that all of the paint apps are painted on crisp, proper, and smooth. And in this case, they didn't. They didn't make sure that happened. And I know I'm not the only one. I bet you that if everyone on Instagram who follows me on Instagram was to tag me in a photo of their Brainiac figure that they got, I bet you we'd see paint apps that weren't proper on theirs as well. I think it's epidemic. And that, again, if we just talk about the problem with this, it's epidemic across all of the DC Essentials. All of them that I've gotten have had paint problems somewhere. Both of my Supermans have paint that I've had to fix in their hair. I've had to repaint their hair in certain areas. The belt loops weren't painted, but that doesn't fall under slop. And then where their shorts, the bottom half of their shorts on the top half of their legs meet, that was sloppy, and I had to completely repaint that on one of mine as well. That should not be the case fresh out of the package. And then the same thing, I got 2 Batmans off the bat, right? Because I order them. If my comic guy, if I don't order them, he won't get them in. So I ordered them special for me. Both of my Batmans, one was sloppier than the other. And I repainted all the blue parts black, and I've totally customized him. He's back there. But again, paint slop. Flash had paint slop, messy paint, even on the face. Same thing with Reverse Flash. Same thing with... I was going to say Ozymandias, but actually Ozymandias was actually pretty good. The face could be a little bit wonky. The eyes were big and weird, but that wasn't really because they were sloppy. There were a little bit of slop there, but it wasn't that bad. But Dr. Manhattan had some paint slop. And Deathstroke, that honeycomb stuff on his shoulder was just all over the place, not right. And DC Collectibles ain't doing themselves any favor by making figures like this and then shipping them out. Honestly, I can tell you that the DC icons were painted way, way, way better than any of the DC Essentials I've gotten so far. The reason why I got behind the DC Essentials is because I like the bigger figures, and I wanted the figures that they were offering in that scale. I did not dream in a million years that they were going to come, A, not molded with the skin tone plastic like they'd originally shown, and then they changed their tune around the same time they removed Superman's reborn suit, and replaced it with the Bendis suit, which is basically just the classic suit with the cuffs again. They changed all the skin to painted skin. Like, crap. If you know me, if you've seen my videos, you know that I'm a big fan of when they mold the person's flesh tones in flesh tone plastic, because it looks natural, it looks real, and you don't. If Superman falls over and bangs his nose a little bit, you're not going to scuff the paint off and end up with that nasty tip of the nose scuff. So I was surprised about that, but I never thought in a million years I would open up the packages to them all and be checking them in the comic store with my buddy Sam and going, oh, look at that. Frick. Oh, well, look at that one. Aquaman's got a birthmark stuck to his face, like a lump of plastic from the molding process. And look at that. Superman's eye is painted weird. And look at that. Things don't line up. Early DC Direct figures, and I have a butt pile of them, the quality control was way, 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 way better. The first DC Direct figure I ever owned was the Superman Lois Lane 2-pack, and I remember being so impressed by the quality of it that that's what sold me on buying DC Direct for the rest of my collector life. I never would have thought, flashing forward to now, that it would go from, say, something like this, which is basically the same Brainiac, but all sculpted. Less articulation, that's true. If you're an articulation hound, this is not the Brainiac for you. But it's matte where it needs to be, it's glossy where it needs to be, the nodes are all sculpted on everywhere. You got 2 tones of the black with the matte and the shiny, you got the sculpted neck piece, you got his skin molded in green on his head and his arms. You know, this is a top quality action figure. At least as far as everything other than articulation goes. This is top of the line, top quality. I can't see anything about this that makes me go, this is crap. This one, however, I can totally see how somebody who was like, if this was your first foray into action figure collecting, DC figure collecting, or let's say a wave or two down the road, they get a lot of these things under control and they don't have the paint slop issues with these figures anymore. But let's say your first foray into this line is you bought this wave because you wanted the Superman, and you bought the last wave because you wanted the Batman. And if you have been let down by 3/4 of the figures in the wave, you're not going to want to buy more. You're going to get, that's going to leave a bad taste in your mouth. And I mean, they are expensive, so the paint better be perfect, especially if there's no sculpting details, like I think I've already said. So, I mean, great with the articulation, right? Groin, ball joint groin, you know, rotatey thigh cut, double jointed knees, always something that people like. Amazing articulation in the ankles with ball hinges that also can swivel and rotate just about everywhere. Awesome articulation. Top of the boot articulation with these guys. Ab crunches that go way up and also way down. Rotatey 360-degree waist, shoulders on hinge swivels, bicep swivels as well. Double jointed elbows and then wrists also on hinge swivels. These guys here are articulated to the nines. And another thing people have been asking for ages is to have ball peg heads that are also on hinges. And these guys have all that articulation in their head. So these figures aren't crap, but they definitely need improving. And it is a little insulting that these have left the factory with so many flaws. You know, they need to get this under control, because I don't know what the future of action figures is going to be like for DC Collectibles if they don't figure this out, if they don't stop doing this. Because as much as I like this, and I'll buy another one because I'm a completionist and I got to have one that's done right, a lot of people aren't going to, they're going to get turned off. They're not going to buy any. They're going to come to the front door and go right out the back door. They're not even going to stick around. That's going to be it for them. So, oh, as a side note, this paint right here, if you got a Superman and you need to touch up the blue, this stuff right here is perfect. I touched up a Superman. I had a little scuff on the one I did with the custom on his shoulder. And then when I was doing the custom cloth cape, I scuffed the blue just a little bit while I was doing the drilling process. This paint covers it right up perfectly. Like, it's, as long as you don't put it on too thick, it's a perfect match. So, yeah, painters, opaque. What color is this? What is this labeled as? Blue. It's labeled as blue. Painter's blue. But there's a darker one, too. Don't get the darker one. And there's also a really light one. Get the middle one, just the blue one. So I guess that's it. That's the figure. That's my thoughts on it. That's my thoughts on the DC Collectibles. I'm going to stay behind them. The DC Essentials. I'm going to stick with them. I'm going to keep buying them. You're going to keep seeing the reviews, because I'm going to keep even if I wasn't doing the reviews, I would keep collecting them anyway. And then I would just fix them myself in the way that I wanted them to be. But those are my thoughts. I do think they should fix it. And I don't know how we could... If we stop buying the product, they'll stop making it. They'll say, oh, no one wants action figures, and then they'll just make statues. I don't want that. I'd rather them put out an 80% product for me that I can fix. But if you don't want to buy them because you want them to be perfect, I totally understand that. It is what it is. Anyhow, guys, thank you so much for watching. It is late as heck. I am finally tired. I need to go to sleep. My eyes are beginning to close on me. So the video's done. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, if you enjoyed looking at Brainiac, I know this wasn't a regular review. This was more like me having a chat with you guys as well. If you enjoyed it, please click a like on it so that I know I'm doing something right. And subscribe if you want to see more of my face and more of my content. If you want to write me a letter, send me a postcard or anything like that, back there on that wall there is the fellow fan wall. You're a fan, I'm a fan, we're all fellow fans. Draw me a picture or send me a postcard. That's all I'm asking, because I want to know where you're from. And I'd like to have a little piece of the people that watch me on YouTube. It would be nice someday when this channel is dead and gone to be like, hey, look at that. This is George, and they sent me a postcard from Philadelphia, or they drew me a picture or something like that. That would be really awesome. That's why the fellow fan wall is there. It's not about me being better than anyone else or me having fans. It's about having fellow fans. So... Anyway, okay, it's late. I'm done. Thanks so much for watching. Have an awesome day. See you later.